What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have part 2 of our mini series here where I'm going to try and walk you guys through and give you some tips on how to do scouting and drafting and all those different things. Off screen I did go ahead and make a couple trades just to try and help out the team a little bit, but not anything crazy or anything like that. We'll see if my connection here actually holds out. I'm not too sure how good the connection's actually going to be, but with that being said, let's actually jump into it. I'll show you guys the couple of trades that we decided to go out and make. The first trade was an offensive lineman. We decided to go out and grab Chukwuma Okorafor to try and help out the team. Hoping that helps out. And actually, before I get too far into this video, let me go ahead and check my mic just to make sure that it's working. Alright, apologies for that. Just want to make sure I checked the mic to make sure it was working. We did go ahead and go out and we traded for Chukwuma Okorafor, like I said. I have not set the depth chart, so I'm going to do that in this video, just reorder the depth chart real quick. But what I basically wanted to cover was I leveraged some of my later round draft picks in order to help out the team now. And that is something that I do in most of my rebuilds because it is more difficult to find good talent in the fourth round or later. You can certainly find valuable players in those late rounds, but what I want to say is, if you can leverage those draft picks in order to get a player that you know is going to help your team, you're better off taking the sure bet than you are going and taking a chance on those draft picks, because more often than not, you're going to miss on those draft picks and they're not going to help you out. So I actually traded away my third pick, my sixth pick, and my seventh pick in order to bring in a couple of different players. So we brought in Chukwuma Okorafor, offensive line, and then obviously we needed some help in the linebacking core, so I decided to go out and bring in Shaquem Griffin rather. I felt like he's kind of a good presence for this defense. He's really athletic. He'll be able to rush the passer from the linebacker spot if he's blitzing at all. I think that he'll help out this defense, and we should be able to progress him nicely as a linebacker. So just bringing in a couple of young guys that could probably progress for us. Nothing flashy or anything like that, but a couple of trades that I think will help us out. So with that being said, we're just going to roll through the second half of the season. Actually, I'm going to reset the depth chart and get things going here. So we're going to auto reorder, and I just want to make sure that it actually starts the good offensive lineman. Yeah, there we go. So Jonah Williams will be the left tackle, and then it moves Chukwuma Okorafor to right tackle. So that's what I like to see. And then I want to make sure that obviously Shaquem Griffin is starting. And with that being said, I don't think that those moves are going to help us significantly enough that that's going to impact us winning more games. But I think that it's something that's important for you guys to do, is to explore the trade block and find guys like that. I found both of them on the trade block. So if you find players like that that are young, they can help your team out, and you can get them for a reasonable price, it's probably better to do that than to throw away your late round picks on players that probably aren't going to help you. And it's probably better to try to build your team in any way that you can. So, like I said, with that being said, let's go ahead and advance to the next week. Hopefully we can get a win against the Rams. I doubt it. Yeah, lost 21-3, so no surprise there. And we're just going to roll through everything like we were before. We're going to check all of our X Factor messages and whatnot. Obviously, we failed that challenge. This is an important one. You always have this option during the bye week of whether you want to rest your players or have extra preparation. There are a couple different things that can result from this. I always do rest and relaxation, just get +2 injury for your entire team, which is really good if you're playing with injuries on, plus you get a morale boost for the entire team. So if you're a team like the Bengals here, you're not winning games, that counter to the morale is really important for you guys. So let's go ahead and scout some positions. Like I said, we traded for a couple of guys that could help us out hopefully in the future. So we might not, in my opinion, we might not need to scout linebackers as heavily as I might have thought we needed to scout them before. that is just one thing that I wanted to note. I'm going to go through here and I'm going to scout all of these A guys, just A and B pluses all the way through, because I feel like we've gotten a good, balance of things going on here scouting wise, and I don't feel too pressured to scout any other positions. Let's go ahead and maybe scout a little bit more at the cornerback spot. We'll scout him the whole way. Yeah, so he's a good first round talent. That would be somebody that would be good that we could probably take to help out our defensive back group. Third round talent here. Yeah, see, there might be a couple decent cornerbacks here later on, but that guy could be potentially good for us. His ratings aren't that great. And then I'm going to drop 2 10-pointers here. Let's see, we'll just do it on the top 2 guys. There we go. There's our scouting for the week, and we're just going to roll through. Like I said, let's go ahead and make sure we get those upgrades. Normally, I would be focusing on doing all these upgrades specifically the way that I want them to be. Like I said, I would, be molding these players to be exactly what I want them to be. But for, time's sake, we're obviously just auto upgrading these players. And hopefully, I don't know if this connection is going to be good or not. I'm hoping that it's going to be clear. I'll obviously review this video afterwards just to see if the connection is good, but I'm not on my normal connection, so that's going to be causing some problems for us. And there we go. We traded for Shaquem Griffin, and we get a breakout player challenge for him in the following week, which is nice to see. Let's see. So what is his challenge going to be? It's going to be hold them to less than 250 or get them an interception, forced fumble, tackle for loss, or sack. So what I actually want to do, this is a really important tip that I think I've covered before, but I'm not entirely sure. If I want to potentially be able to get him a sack, I'm going to go to my rushing left end spot, and I'm going to sub him in as the rushing left end so that in any passing situations, he's going to have the opportunity to rush the quarterback. Being that he has decent finesse moves, he might be able to make it to the quarterback. I'm not going to leave it like this for forever, but oftentimes I notice that is one good way to hopefully boost yourself up and be able to get those dev challenges for pass rushers. And like I said, we're just going to keep rolling on through it. Scouting wise, don't want to forget our scouting. What would be worthwhile to scout for us? We're good at quarterback, halfback, wide receivers solid. I think that tight end we had talked about scouting, and these tight ends aren't that great, so we do kind of need to scout them the whole way just to see who might be decent. I mean, these are a lot of C's. I can't see these guys being very good, to be honest with you. Let's go ahead and maybe scout, I don't know, maybe a D tackle, because what's his name is getting a little bit old, Geno Atkins. And move on to the next one. All right, on to week 11. We're sitting at 3-5, which isn't that bad. We just got a win against Baltimore, which is fantastic. 4-5. I don't know where that puts us in the division. 7-2. So, our best bet is probably going to be a wild card spot, even, if that. Let's see what we got. I want to see if we got the breakout player challenge. It wasn't the performance he was hoping for. Oh well, he didn't get it. I'm going to go back into the depth chart and reorder it. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get that breakout challenge for him, which kind of stinks, but we did get the win against Baltimore, which is pretty important for us. Earned 150 XP. A lot of messages to click through here. I might start ignoring the messages just to save time on the videos. I mean, like I said, it's important that you guys go through and click on all those messages and actually go through and do them. But for time's sake, I can't say that it's the most important thing in the world. We're gonna just auto upgrade these guys. I think Burrow's the only one that I'm really concerned about right now, getting his upgrades to the correct places. Defensive back wise, there wasn't anybody that good. I think that it's a good time to go through and fill in some of this information for linebackers, because I noticed there are some pretty good ones here. That one's a surprise to me, that he's got a B+, a B, and a C+, and he's a 7th round grade. That one's a little odd. Yeah, so some decent grades here, but these players aren't turning out to be that good. That could be Rashad Atkins could be a good potential late round steal for us. Just fill in some more of this information. This guy, yeah, see, he's got good grades, but he's not going to be that good of a player. That's interesting to see. But we are finding some good players there by doing our scouting method that I had talked about before. This is a good opportunity for us to get a win against another 4-5 team. I don't know if we'll be able to make that happen or not, but that would be good going into a game against the Steelers to come off a win, and we lost 31-13. Not good for us. We got a plan for TJ Watt. Obviously, I'm going to disregard that because I can't imagine that this team's going to be able to slow him down in any way. So let's go ahead and do our scouting again. We'll do some outside linebackers this time, get a little bit more information for them, and hopefully we'll be able to... I'm thinking that I want to draft at least 2 linebackers in this draft. I mean, we have some guys that are young, but I can't guarantee that they're actually going to develop into anything. Our safeties are good. I think this is a good opportunity for us to scout some defensive tackles. Just get some information and see if there's anybody here that's potentially worthwhile scouting further. Power moves, good for D tackles. Go ahead and upgrade one more time. Jermaine Pratt's a linebacker. Hopefully that gives him a decent upgrade. Hopefully it's upgrading them, our linebackers, since we're in a 4-3 as pass coverage or field general or run stoppers, as opposed to upgrading them as like speed rushers or something like that, because that's not actually useful to us. Be interesting to see if we could get a win against the Steelers, and we did. We pulled out a 23-17 win against Pittsburgh. Let's go ahead and scout. And at this point, I'm honestly, we're just getting into the nitty gritty, and it's like I just need to scout the players that I think are potentially going to be good, and backfill all of these, and just kind of hope that we potentially find some like later round gems that could help us out. So I mean, there are quite a few good offensive linemen here, in my opinion. A lot of good right guards. I mean, you look at this, couple first rounds, a whole bunch of second round talents, and this is one where it's potentially worthwhile to go through and get some information on these undrafted players, because like I've said in the past, if you get that information and you know that the top guys are good, there's the potential that the undrafted players at that position could be decent as well. So I'm going to be looking at that right guard position pretty heavily. Look at a couple linebackers. We got, 50 points to spend, so we'll just do 10s. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to scout all these guys because I want to make sure, yeah, these guys aren't good. It's weird that they're getting B grades and they're not that good. That kind of means that in relation to the other players in the draft class, that the middle linebacker class isn't all that strong. Because if you're getting guys that are like this is kind of a tip of their grades, that means that overall the draft hit power. So that's, but they're coming up as undraftable players. That means that overall the draft class is weak in those areas. So that's really important for you guys to know. And I apologize, like I said, hopefully the connection is staying good here. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. But no guarantees with all of that. Oh, we got some XP for the quarterback because we did hold TJ Watt to a lower performance. We'll go ahead and let those guys all get auto upgraded and keep chugging along here. I'm honestly at a point where I'm like, I almost want it to just kind of auto scout for me. I'm going to start ignoring some of these messages. And just try and basically get through the scouting as quickly as we can here. I'm actually kind of surprised that this team's doing as well as it is. I mean, we're up to what? We won against the Jets there, so we're sitting at 6-6. Second in the division, tied with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. The Browns are on top at 9-3. I mean, we have a shot at we have a shot at the wild card. So one of the things to note is you want to start to tailor your draft plan as you see how your season turns out. And so, I'm not going to waste time scouting these guys at the top of the draft. If I end up with extra points and I feel like scouting them because maybe one of them will fall to me, then I'll scout them. But I'm not going to backfill this information because, I know that I'm going to have like a bottom 15 pick. So what might be better for me is scouting all the players that are essentially below that and get information on who's best available at that pick, because I know that I'm going to be picking potentially below pick 15. I want to be on the lookout for players that are available below that pick. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's kind of a way that I tend to adapt as the season goes along. Hopefully we can still win against the Browns. I doubt it. Yeah, we picked up a loss there. Gonna go ahead. These are X factors, so those don't matter to us. I will pick up any dev trait messages that pop up for us because those ones are rather important. This one's important for me. I want to upgrade Chukwuma Okorafor as a pass protector because he is playing tackle for us. And hopefully he can continue to develop. He is young. Let these other guys upgrade on their own. Try and breeze through some scouting here. Tight ends, right tackle, or right guards were the ones that we wanted to fill in. I'm gonna scout the first trait on every one of these guys. They're all B minuses, but I'm really just curious. Yeah, see there we found a 7th round talent. It's looking like there's not going to be anybody incredibly good here, but we have so much scouting and we don't have that many positions of need. So, we at least found a couple half-decent guys there. Let's go to cornerback and try and fill in some of the gaps here. We're going to scout all the way down here. All right, so this is a situation where I need to find another player that I scouted that needs 5 additional points. So I'm going to go down through here and just scroll through because I'm sure there's one somewhere that I scouted the 2nd trait and just need to buy the 3rd right there. Alright, all the scouting is used and we're moving along. New injury. Alex Redmond, partial MCL tear. He'll come back in 7 weeks. So if we do make the playoffs, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a potential that he could play if we made it to like the Super Bowl. Not gonna happen, but don't need to put him on the IR yet. I doubt there's anybody out there that we particularly need to get. We beat the Patriots, so that's fantastic. Now we're sitting at 7-7. There's a half decent shot we make the playoffs. We have to win against the Dolphins and the Browns, which is however unlikely, but still potentially good for us. Let's go ahead and auto upgrade the rest of these guys. I'd say the team's coming along pretty nicely. I mean, we're up to 79 overall now. We'll be up to an 80 by the end of the season, and we haven't even really done much aside from develop the players that are already here. Like I said, we got a couple of, half-decent trades for us. Now what I want to find out is, did we kind of scout everything we wanted to scout at O-line? Yeah, these guys might be worth finishing their scouting. No, they weren't. There's some pretty good offensive linemen, but I doubt that we're going to find much more than we already did here. Let's go check out the right tackles. Yeah, not going to find much more than what's already there. Let's go ahead and backfill for the linebackers if we haven't done so already. And just make sure that we have a good pool of linebackers to choose from in this draft. So I'm going to scout all the Bs. Yeah, see, these outside linebackers aren't very good in this class. That's potentially a good player there. Let's look at the right outside linebackers. Not many good ones here either. So I think we're going to be focusing heavily after this on scouting cornerbacks. Because like I said, not a whole lot there. Couple good ones earlier on, but that's about it. So everything done for the week. See what she says about our important win. And apparently I skipped it. Can we beat the Dolphins? 7-7 versus 8-6. We lost 24-23. That's a tough way to lose a game. Get a last upgrade of the season. We're probably, actually, I think we're definitely out of playoffs at this point, sitting at 7-8. We could win this game against the Browns, but it would be honestly probably in our best interest just to throw this game and hope for the best draft pick. I do notice that I have 2,300 scouting XP up there in the top right corner, or sorry, coach XP in the top right corner, so it might be worthwhile for me to go out and buy an upgrade for my coach. I've probably been missing out on some XP or something. There are just not any good corners here either. I mean, normally you find some better ones a little bit lower down. I think we'll probably target somebody like Kenny Tomlinson later on. Some good safeties, though. Maybe not. Safety class is a little weak, too. We're going to have to find another player that we've scouted to. Yeah. I've talked about using all of my scouting XP just to save time, though. Every week in a franchise, you want to make sure you use that 5 points, but I'm not gonna waste time here looking for it. I think we're knocked out of the playoffs at this point. Yes, so we're gonna get all of our practice squad players signed, and we're going to see the upgrade players tab and get our final upgrades for the season, and we'll just auto all of those and get to the off season where we want to be. With my coach, I'm going to part of the thing that I've been thinking in my head is with the coach, do I want to save up for one of these training boosts, or do I want to kind of try and save to see if I can't get a player re-sign influence or a free agency influence for the off season? And I think this is what I'm going to save for. So what I do a lot of times in my franchises, and I advise you guys do as well, is if you have XP at the end of the season, save it up and see if it can be useful to you in a number of different ways. So for this franchise, obviously we're going to look at the free agency pool to try and add offensive linemen, try to add linebackers, and having this XP at my disposal means that, if I see that there are offensive linemen there, I can buy that trait and then have an easier time of signing a couple free agent offensive linemen. So I'm going to hang on to that XP for now until we see what's going on with the off season. Let's go ahead. A lot of times what I'll do when these practice squad players come in is I will cut the guys that I don't want for the next season. Let's go ahead and just sim up to the Super Bowl, though. And we'll be able to make a determination here. So we got more scouting. You get more scouting during the Super Bowl phase. Redmond's back from injury. Doesn't affect us, obviously. Yearly awards. Not real. Well, I mean, I guess I could look at yearly awards. Maybe we got a Rookie of the Year or something. Probably worthwhile to take a look at. I'm going to look at these D tackles. We do run a 4-3. Scout some of these Bs. That's a really good player. That's a good player. Okay, now I'm starting to be a little bit more happy with what because we weren't finding a whole lot of good players before, in my opinion. So we were kind of struggling to identify some of the players that might help us out. This guy popped up out of nowhere as a 4th round grade, A-, A-. Where did he come from? That guy wasn't there before. I'm almost positive, because I would have noticed that he had an A-. And I only went there because I wanted to spend 7 points and keep it even. Let's keep scouting some D linemen. 10-10. All right. And let's see. Apparently the Browns made it to the Super Bowl. That's pretty wild. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but it's possible, I suppose. Anything's possible in the NFL. The Browns lost to the Cowboys 28-14. That's probably the most unlikely Super Bowl matchup whenever you consider teams that just can't manage to get anything going. So that's interesting that the Cowboys won 28-14, but hey, good for them. Finally getting back there, finally winning one. We have a couple of signings here. We'll re-sign Bjorquez to a long-term deal. Give him maybe 4 years as a punter. He'll be fine. cool. He's coming back. Carter, we're just going to let you go. Let him go. Let him go. I don't see a need to bring back any of these guys in particular, so we'll just advance from there. And in the next video, I will do all of the draft and everything like that and go from there in the third episode. Let me go and actually check out the free agency pool as kind of a preview for you guys. So it's automatically starting off as a bit of a weaker free agency pool because they're the highest guys only an 82. But what I will say is that an 82 overall right guard would be tremendously helpful for us as a team. So I'll probably be looking to go out and bring in either Osemele or Larry Warford or both of them to help out this team. I can't see that hurting us in any way, and I'm going to probably go through some of these other players. If there's anybody in here that you guys think would help rebuild this team, leave that in the comment section and I'll take a look at it. But in the next episode, like I said, that'll be what we'll do. We'll go ahead and go through the offseason. I'll probably put in my bids off screen and then just go through who the guys are that I want to sign for you guys for this rebuild. Team hit an 80 overall by the end of the season, which is really good to see. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good one.